Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity. Your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
It is Friday. Welcome one, welcome all to the Liions Villain Report. I am your host, Russell Wayne, and good, happy Friday to you. We're broadcasting live right now into the Liions Villain Squad Facebook page. We almost have 52,000 people. We're only like 5 people short, so go follow the page if you haven't followed it already. We would love to have you be part of the Villain Squad family, faith, family, and football. Broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions News Podcast with Joe Chapp and the boys. Doing it right over there. They have like 77,000 people right now. Go over and make sure that you follow and like that page. We are also on the Roku, which is the Huddle Sports Network. Check us out on there. And we are on JC Sports YouTube page and the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page as well. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Anybody that is a football fan and likes football talk, that's what we do here. And welcome. Happy Friday to you all. And we had a preseason game yesterday. Yes. Everybody got all jacked up for it. And yeah, it was the Bears' third string versus the Houston Texans' first string. I don't want to take too much time up on that game yesterday. It was, gosh, but it is the signal that we've been waiting for. The signal of football is on the horizon. Football is on the horizon, and we can see it. We can feel it. We can taste it. One more week, and then we actually have some Lions preseason where we get to watch our third stringers go at it. But I think it's going to be exciting for that. If you are a diehard Lion fan, then this is a very, very interesting preseason for the depth pieces, because all of the starting spots are pretty much accounted for. There's a couple of spots here and there that are going to be up for grabs that are starter spots, but for the most part, we're talking about depth pieces. The foundation of our team here in Detroit is set, and what we really need to set is like the final pieces, right? Like, we don't have any openings on our offensive line, right? So the training camp battles start with like that swing tackle, the depth pieces, the pieces that are going to come in when one of those guys need to get spelled or they get hurt, right? So offensive line, the battle starts really at that swing tackle, that 6, 7, 8 offensive linemen. They're going to be battling in there. For the running backs, we already got Jahmyr Gibbs. We already got David Montgomery. We already got Craig Reynolds. So that fourth running back spot, or maybe even they'll challenge Craig for that third spot with like Sione Vaki, Zonovan Knight. And there's where the battle's going to be. The number 3 running back. Take it over to the wide receivers, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a stud. He ain't going nowhere. He's not in a roster battle. We know who he is. Jameson Williams came ready to take that number 2 slot and maybe even be a 1A, 1B. So the 2 slots are there. We got Khalif Raymond. Khalif Raymond's been a staple for us. So now that battle really begins with that wide receiver 4 position, where you got Donovan Peoples-Jones, Antoine Green, and this new, not really new, he's been in a lot of practice squads, but Darius Fountain. Darius Fountain coming in and showing out, putting his hat in, trying to make this roster as the number 4 wide receiver. And I haven't heard much about Donovan Peoples-Jones in this training camp. Is he fighting for this spot? Gonna let some of these young bucks come up. Gonna let these young bucks come up and take it right there. Let's say hello to everybody. Welcome, Mike Fisher. Mike Fisher is
Say hello to my little friend.
present and accounted for. Fred Peterson, what is going on, my brother? It is a great day to be a Lion One Pride. Happy Friday.
Say hello to my little friend. You like that? You like that?
It is Friday. It is Friday. You got through the work week. Giorgio. Hi. What's going on?
You like that?
What's up, Scott Harrison?
Say hello to my little friend.
We are back. Don. Potential. This is potentially Don right here. But he says,
You like that?
there we go. Fred Peterson, what are we going to do with the $40 million in cap space? That is a great question, Fred Peterson. Thank you for asking a question. We love that you ask questions. I love that you make the comments. We love the comments in there, but we also love the questions right here. And I'm glad that you brought that up. I was looking at some stuff here. I was already in 2027 looking and seeing what the cap was like. But right now, after Taylor Decker signs this deal, the Lions now have $42 million after the signing of Decker. So 3 years, $60 million guaranteed. Or 3 years, $60 million, $31 million guaranteed. So half of this contract is guaranteed. And what did that mean for the cap? And we went over this a little bit yesterday, but we'll do a little review here so we can understand what's really going on here. Now, Taylor Decker's base salary was $12 million before the contract extension. We're gonna show how we created money right here. Base salary gets converted to signing bonus, which takes this number over here, which is the cap number. Before the contract was signed, this was $19 million. And I was saying before we knew what these numbers were, before they came out, that we didn't know how much money they were going to create. They could have actually created all the way up to, I would say about $12 million they could have created totally. And I think they moved some of that forward too. But they were able to lower his base salary by converting the signing bonus, which as a cause and effect lowers this number from 19 million to 10 million, which raises the overall team cap space to $42 million, Fred. $42 million. What are we going to do with all that space? Well, to answer that question, they've been talking about it. They asked, what are they going to do with that space? They got to get Aleem McNeil. They said Aleem McNeil is the next on the list of extensions to get done. But what do you think? Who should be the next person that gets signed by Brad Holmes? Keeping the band together. We're keeping the band together. This is something that we could have only dreamed about from 2021. And you're like, gosh, we never had a good GM. What is this guy going to do? They picked Penei Sewell. And, you know, after the first year, it's like Penei Sewell fell to us, guys. Honestly, when you look back at that, I know that they love having Jamar Chase over in Cincinnati, and they took Jamar Chase that year, but they should have taken Penei Sewell at 5 instead of the Lions, and they messed up because now look at them. Now look at them. You got T. Higgins and you got Jamar Chase. Both the guys are going to be fighting for gigantic contract extensions. You can't really afford to have your team be good and sign 2 max players at wide receiver. And now they're in the spot they're in. Now one of those guys are going to go, and they still don't got a good tackle. And imagine that. Imagine the fortunes. I mean, I don't know who we would have taken if Penei Sewell wasn't available that year, but I feel very fortunate to have Penei Sewell and not Jamar Chase or one of those other players, because honestly, I think Penei Sewell could be the top player from that draft. I mean, this is a generational tackle that started this whole thing. And now, fast forward 3 years later, after really good drafting, I mean, Brad Holmes don't miss in his drafts. So he's getting a multitude of players in year 1, year 2, year 3. Well, now the year 1 guys are starting to come up in contract, and that's okay. That's what happens when you draft well, is you're able to save money in other positions. So for everybody that thinks that, why did you re-sign Jared Goff to such a big contract? It's because you ain't trying to rock the boat. Jared Goff has been fantastic as a quarterback. Amon-Ra's been fantastic as a wide receiver. You got to lock these guys up while they're hitting on these early round draft picks, like Jahmyr Gibbs, like, you know, Jack Campbell coming into his second year. All of these guys look like they're locked and ready to go. And the ones that have the experience, they just keep getting better. Brad Holmes has put together a team of guys that are grinders, that it's not necessarily the talent shown on day one, but it's the potential of the talent, because you know what type of character these guys have to work to get to that ceiling. So they're not taking these high floor guys that are already preloaded, right? That's what we did with Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah was pro ready, right? It's hard to take a pro ready guy and teach him new stuff unless they're willing and they're open to coaching. And that's one attribute that I think that all of the Lions players have, which is the attitude to get better. They can be coached. They've never arrived. It's a certain mentality, this grinder mentality, this Aiden Hutchinson mentality is like, look, I'm 25, 26 years old. I am in this self-improvement, football improvement thing for the next 7 years, regardless of where I am or what I do. I bring this lunch pail with me every day, and the version of me in 7 years is going to be better than the version of me right now. And all of these guys have that killer instinct mentality and the grind and the determination to do the little things, to take the little coaching to get, you know, 0.5% better. Those are the type of guys that you want on your team. They may not be ready year one, right? Look at Derek Barnes. Look at Ifiatu Melifanu. Look at Aleem McNeil even. Aleem McNeil came on last year, but I still don't think that he's reached that ceiling yet. This guy's still progressing. Aiden Hutchinson is still progressing. There's something about the third year with the players in this system that came out. So Aiden Hutchinson's going into his third year, and 15 sacks last year and a year where he's still ascending ain't bad, is it? So anyway, right there. Thank you for the question, Fred. I kind of went all over the place right there, but the bottom line is there's a plethora of guys that we can sign with that. I do believe that Aleem McNeil is going to be next on that list. While talking cap, where is Anzalone sitting? He is set for another 2 seasons. Okay, let's go check that out. Alex Anzalone is right here, right? He's $6 million, $7 million cap number this year. Where you at, Alex? For 2025, he signed. 2026 is a void year. So yeah, we can have him this year and then next year, and already signed, and who knows where to go from there. So Taylor Decker is that dude. He definitely deserves more. Love that call.
You like that? We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Because the offensive line makes it go. You know, there are players that are out there, you know, in the quarterback. You know, the biggest knock on Jared Goff is the fact that he isn't mobile. Well, when you put, you know, $200 million into your offensive line, you don't need a mobile quarterback. You need a guy that can distribute the football, and Goff might be the best in the league at distributing. Now, the thing is if you don't keep him clean, you can't be expecting him to run out of the pocket and do all these amazing things like some of these mobile quarterbacks do. But on the other hand, the part that people don't talk about, like, oh my God, Lamar Jackson can throw. Oh my God, Lamar Jackson can run. And it's like, oh my God, all of these guys can escape the pocket. We need a guy that can escape the pocket and he can and make things happen. But how many plays in a game do you really need to escape the pocket and extend plays? I mean, we're not talking a higher percent. Most of the game is drop back, read the defense, and make a decision and get rid of the ball. You know, that's a more percentage of doing the game managing than people escaping the pocket, unless your offensive line is dog shit. But it's not. But so for a small percentage of the plays, you can make something happen. But what happens when you just need to run the offense? And I think that's where a lot of these mobile quarterbacks get in trouble, because you don't have to create on every play. You don't have to, I got to get outside the pocket and do a little dance and a pirouette and chuck the ball down the field. And it doesn't always happen like that. A lot of times you're just reading the defense, going to your first read. Can you do that? Can you do that? Now, if you're Mahomes and you can do that, you can play on platform and off platform. You know, there's a couple quarterbacks in the league that can do that and do that really well. But for the most part, you just need a quarterback that's going to make a good decision with the football, you know, and know the offense. Throw an accurate pass. Get it into the hands of his playmakers if you have any. And we have a plethora of them. So McNeil still won't be $42 million. Who else is up for a contract extension next season that deserves the payday? Well, let's go. Derek Barnes. How about Ifeatu Melifonwu? They're both in the last years of their deal. I mean, could you get Aiden Hutchinson done a year early? I mean, get these guys done. That's a possibility too. One thing I don't see them doing with that $32 million, Fred, at all, is going outside the organization. Oh, we need to go get Matthew Judon. Oh, we need to go get these other guys that have never played here before and pay them lots of money and give up draft capital. I don't see them doing that. If they do that, I will be surprised. Now, don't get me wrong. If they bring Matthew Judon into this in here, I'm not going to come on here and say, oh my God, Brad Holmes, crap the bed. I can't believe he played it. I mean, we got $42 million. If they want to go all in on a short-term thing, I don't mind that. I just think that the answers for our defensive line are already on the team. That's just my opinion.
You like that?
Oh, shoot. I forgot to send Mike the link. I'm in here talking I'm in here talking. He's probably texted me twice already. I haven't even been looking, but I got to get in here. Going to have a conversation with Mike because this is his. He doesn't get very many Fridays with me. Let's just say this is going to be a rare occasion that we can get Mike in here on a Friday because he's a busy guy. You know, when a lot of people, I wanted to put a sidebar right here. Yesterday, I'm making content. I'm one of the content creators here at the Villain Squad. And some of the stuff that you see on the page that comes out that I would love you to react to. You know, we love the reactions on the graphics and the stuff that we make, that we put up, because that's where the conversation really starts, right? So let me load this up here and share this. Where is my thing? There we go. So right there, you know, you go to our page and Mike's in here and what's going on, Mike? How you doing?
I'm so good, Ross. Good morning, villains.
The villains right here. So I was talking about a conversation. I hadn't even set it up yet, but a conversation I had. You put up a piece of content that we put up on scheduling. Now, Mike and I are the content makers here. We also have Elise Memes that just came on, and then Stephen Michael McMania puts all these really cool Villain Squad stuff out there. But we're the only 4 people, right? There's 52,000 people on this page, and we're the only 4 content creators. Now, every once in a while, like, you'll schedule something out, and then maybe something will happen. Like, you asked a question on one of your posts that came out obviously as a schedule, and it said, who's going to make the team roster battle? And it add Kaminsky's name in there. And there was a comment in there that was, you guys aren't real football fans. Obviously, everybody on God's green earth knew that Kaminsky wasn't on the team, and you guys aren't real fans. And I thought about responding to him. I decided to delete the post. I don't care about that. But here's the thing. There's 4 of us putting up all of this content that comes on here. And every once in a while, news will break, and then a scheduled post will come out, and it will be a mistake. We are some of the biggest fans. I'm not going to say the biggest fan because that's cliche, but Mike and I are some of the biggest Lions fans ever. And if there's ever a mistake on there, I don't mind you calling us out, but don't ever not call us a real fan because a mistake comes out. Come on, guys. But we all love that you can come on here and engage with the page, right? We got some good stuff on there. Look at that. Look at that. All these cool little graphics. Mike put a nice thing up with Robert Porsche right there. James Houston. Go on there and start a conversation with somebody. Go after Mark Elmore. He's a Packer fan that has to come on our page and say, go Pack, go every day. Like,
how about that little squirrel, huh? That little squirrel's crushing it.
Look at that squirrel. You see a squirrel? Finally, football. And you can even argue with us. There was I think his name's Jesse Murphy was on there, and he was like, there's no real football. What are you talking about? Lions don't play till next week. And I was like, yeah, that's probably pretty true. I mean, whenever I see the Bears play, I also feel that it's not real football. So I understand what you mean. Oh, I had some stuff in here. I grabbed some of these things that we made yesterday. You know, do you remember that? How about that? Yeah. Matt Patricia, Sam Campbell. How you doing, Mike? I'm sorry. I'm
so good. I'm reading all the comments from the villains in here. I love it. We got Sarah from Vikings Nation in the chat. Great to see her. She says JJ McCarthy's looking good. Why, Sarah? Is he going to play corner?
Oh, let me find these. I gotta. You can't put those up, can you? Okay, there you go. JJ McCarthy's looking good. He must be playing corner. Hey, there's Mark. Thank you for the props. Yeah, Mark is like we got some cool Packer fans in here, and I can't even believe those words would come out of my mouth. But there's troll Packer fans, that just like everything that you put up are like, yeah, whatever, we haven't done anything. Shut up. But Mark is witty. Mark is cool. Like he doesn't troll. His trolling is more like in the cerebral type. So I enjoy your trolls, Mark. I love the fact that Steve comes in here and he does a little bit of trolling, but then he asks questions. That's what we ask you to do. Ask questions and we can answer them about football.
Well, I have this theory, Russ. You see, Mark doesn't live in Wisconsin. He lives probably over 2,000 miles away from Wisconsin. And as you get further away from Lambeau Field, your IQ starts to rise. So we do find these really smart and good Packer fans further and further away from Wisconsin.
Oh. So Sarah says that she woke up early enough today to even catch the show right there. And I did hear those reports about JJ McCarthy. And I know that you're a big Michigan slappy, so you love you some JJ McCarthy too. But there's an actual talk out of that camp that JJ McCarthy has a shot to be the day one starter there. So that's good news for them. But you still need a cornerback. I mean, you might be able to score some points. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson. You better be able to score some points. And TJ Hawkinson, you better be able to score some points. Jeremy B., can we call the meaningless game the Bears will celebrate an asterisk win isn't even played to the whistle? What do you think about that comment? They had some thunderstorms.
Yeah, talking about the Hall of Fame game, of course, 21-17. Tyler, what's his name? Rippin.
Bagent.
First name.
Bagent.
Bagent. Not Bagent. Rippin, who was the starting quarterback in the game, threw 3 touchdowns. And, they called the game midway through the third quarter, I believe it was. I shut it off before halftime. It's third stringers. It was great to see football. It definitely filled that void in my soul, watching some real football live. So it was great to get the ice broken and get that Hall of Fame game out of the way. Now we are just 6 days away from the Lions' first preseason game, and we're Brett Rippin. Thank you, Jeremy. And we'll get to see Hendon Hooker. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, for sure, Jeremy. I don't think the Bears. I did see some memes this morning where I think they're tongue in cheek with that, though. I don't think they're really being serious.
They're not, man. I've seen some Bears touting 15-2, 14-3. Like I mean, the same crap that they were putting out last year with Justin Fields. They just took. They might as well have just taken Justin Fields' face, put an X through it, and just put Caleb's face right over top of him and be like, "Hey, we got the best quarterback again." I did
It's
see
my
one
quarterback.
post this morning from a Bear fan that said the miracle season begins. So seems a little.
It starts with a game that goes your way because they didn't let Houston finish the game. So okay.
But there is some big news that happened late last night, Russ. I'm not even sure if you're aware. I didn't see anything over the internet today, but it came out on ESPN last night, and I think this is big. The NFL, in their Sunday ticket lawsuit, the lawsuit has been overturned by a higher court. And it looks like for now, the NFL has won. And they will not have to pay the $4.4 billion they lost in court. And I think it's a big deal. Each one of the NFL teams are going to have to pony up, I think, over $400 million to pay off this lawsuit. And I feel so conflicted because part of me is like, yay, the Lions don't have to pay that. And then a part of me is like, wait a minute, these billionaires just get to keep all their money still. So it's really a thing. It's not completely over yet. We may see some other form of appeal before this is all over with, but pretty big news that no one's talking about, that Sunday ticket lawsuit has been overturned. And for now, the NFL's off the hook.
Yeah, man. The NFL lawsuit is overturned. And you even called that out. You're like, is this a real thing? I mean, they're going to overturn. It's going to take, 5 years with all the appeals and blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of it all, you will get your $32.65 check. As long as you stayed with the whole story and you kept on, submitting the documents and staying along with the lawsuit, keeping up with the lawyers, you'll get your $32 check. So,
Yeah, I like Fred here. $4 billion. Well, I guess, like you said earlier, when this thing first came down, the owners are going to find a way to pass on that cost to us, right? So I guess it's a good thing for us now. If I was a Sunday ticket owner, which I wasn't, I'd be looking at probably a $4,000 check, which would have been nice for those people. But it looks like when we go to Ford Field now, our popcorn's going to stay $8. It's not going to move to $12. So, parking, I paid $80 for a parking spot when I went to a game last year. So I imagine that this is going to be good news in the long run for the run-of-the-mill fan.
Yeah, I mean, am I breaking up or is that you?
I think that was you, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm starting to. You can almost see the glitches starting to happen. But anyway, let's say he's going to burn your corners. So Sarah is feeling pretty good about her offense, and she should. I mean, if JJ McCarthy's average, I mean, he's got to be better than Nick Mullins, right? I mean, no,
but is he better than Sam Darnold?
Well, I mean, if he wins the job, right?
I don't think he's going to win the job, and I think Sarah knows that too. Sam Darnold's going to start the first game under center, and if he falters, that's the real question: is when do they yank him? When the season becomes out of reach, and believe me, if you win 2 out of the first 6 games, you're pretty close to out of reach, especially in this division. I think we'll see a change, and they'll let McCarthy take his lumps and gain experience with those valuable reps. Man, that was a good take. Did anyone hear that? No, I guess not. Looks like we're frozen.
Going to be loved or hated this season by his fans. What do you think, Mike? Is Jordan
about Jordan Love? Oh, they're all sycophants up there in Wisconsin. They're going to love him no matter what. They're going to love him no matter. They're going to put the blame on the new defensive coordinator, or they're going to put the blame on the kicker. Believe me, they're not going to abandon ship with Jordan Love, especially now that they paid him more than any other player in the league.
Even if he starts out the year by ending the games like he ended that San Francisco game.
Yeah, I think it would take an entire season of that to really get any of those Packer fans to budge off of their podium that he's the greatest thing since Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they can also fall back on the young team excuse too. I mean, that's what the Lions had last year. Like, if you notice the demeanor, like last year, the poise of the Lion fan was, hey, we're coming. We could win 10, 11, 12 games this year. We're trying to win the division. But I didn't see many people like going out there with their banners and saying we're going to win a Super Bowl. We were like, we're going to win that playoff game this year. We're going to win that playoff game this year. And the whole feel of it is different now. There's no longer the excuse for Lion fan. You can't say, hey, we're a young team. No. You made it to the NFC Championship. Your window is open. Really, anything minus getting to a Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl is going to be a disappointment to a Lions fan. And that's a great place to be in. But it's the easiest place to get hurt. Packer fans know all about that, making it really far and not being able to close that out since 2011. So nobody in the NFC North has big bragging rights right now. I mean, I know that the Packer fans love to, cart their trophies around from yesteryear, but still now the NFC North has been vacant for over 10 years. It's over a decade without a championship in this division. So Packer fans can go, yeah, we had that in 2011. We won the Super Bowl, right? How many of those players are on your team? Don't matter. It don't that old stuff don't matter. Just as much as it doesn't matter that championship in 1957. It don't matter. The past doesn't matter from that unless you're just trying to learn so you can get better for the future. What you talking about? Caleb is already a Hall of Fame bust. That's what Sarah says. she's thick. She's putting it in there thick today. Only 10 Heisman winners have made it to the Hall of Fame in NFL history. I can't even read that. Caleb Williams, none are a QB. he spelled it in his own way. Did you see that?
I do see that.
Yeah. Paul Jones says Chicago couldn't develop a Polaroid.
You like that? You like that? You like that? You like that? You like that?
That's a 5. That's a 5 cousins on that one, I think. Glad McCarthy didn't win a Heisman. Whew, we dodged that bullet.
It's my quarterback.
Gosh.
I've got to correct Jeremy there that Jim Plunkett won the Heisman Trophy and is in the Hall of Fame. And he was a quarterback.
Oh, Mike, I love how the thesaurus. Maybe this one will work better for Caleb. And
you've got Sarah's comment over the words. We can't really see the words. There it is.
There you go. NFL defenses. Caleb Williams. He's feeling all cocky, huh? Dang it. I ruined my own joke. Oh, there you go.
I love that one.
Yes.
Now.
Oh man, I pulled up some of the quotes that came from this year. Rashad White on Aiden Hutchinson says he's obviously great in the Motor City because he's got the best motor that he's ever seen. You'd probably agree with that, wouldn't you, Mike? Look at Hutch.
Yeah, definitely. I think Max Crosby right up there with Aiden when it comes to motor, but he's definitely one of the highest motor guys I've ever seen. Even in college, he was like that. This is just the way he's wired, and that's what you hear the coaches in Detroit say about him too. He's just wired that way.
And I was talking about that before you came on today. It's like these Brad Holmes draft classes when we were talking about like who we should sign, like who's the next person we should sign even after Aleem. And it's like this first draft class, you could go into Barnes and Ifiatu right after Aleem, just keeping these core pieces together if they were going to do that with the $42 million that they got. But it's because they've drafted these guys that have that work chip, and maybe not the highest floor guys right out the gate, but they knew that they had a certain mentality that was going to carry them into the progression part of being an NFL football player. And over the years, like Aiden Hutchinson in 3 years is going to be ridiculous. More ridiculous than he is already right now because of his training regimen, his dedication to the routines and the eating and the weight training that is very specific to his job. A lot of people just pump the weights, but he's working on the stuff that gets him, 0.5% better every month. Just the little bit, the little increments. And when that shakes out, him and guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Hutchinson and these workhorse guys, Terrion Arnold's in that category too. These guys that are just so devoted to getting better, and then the game, right? It's like the game's going to take care of itself if these guys keep on training in the way that they train. So, We keep on hearing this. It's clear that Levi Onwuzurike is one of the best. The best. I mean, it's just clear fundamentally he's better than he's ever been. I mean, the hype keeps coming out about this guy, and I looked up. I tried to find something that backed up what you and Jeremy were saying yesterday about them just talking all this great stuff about Levi, and I couldn't find it. They were happy last year. It was made up articles like, oh my gosh, Levi is here. He's at the facility. He had a broken back last year. Wow, I hope he makes the roster. We're going to wait and see. So this hype, this never been like this for Levi. I've never, in the 4 years that Campbell's been here, heard him say that Levi was the best defensive lineman out there. Ever. Never. I can't find it. And Dan Campbell doesn't come out and make empty compliments, okay? If he says that this is the best that he's ever been, I believe him. I believe Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell doesn't come out and fluff.
Looks like Russ is frozen.
Year, no. Can you hear? Am I cutting out, Mike?
Oh, you're back now.
Okay. Would you want to take over for a minute?
Oh, I don't need to take over. You just cut out for a couple seconds. Go
okay.
ahead.
Well,
but I am getting comments from Sarah in here. How obviously, because you're a Buckeye fan, this question must be for me. How conflicted will you feel seeing your Michigan Wolverine hold up a Lombardi as a Viking? Well, that's a great question. And I did see another comment that she made that apparently there are a lot of Viking fans that follow JJ from Michigan. A lot of Michigan fans that are now Viking fans because of JJ. And believe me, this is not anything new, Sarah. We saw this with Matt Stafford. Hell, we saw this with Tom Brady. We're very loyal people here in Michigan. We're tough and we're loyal. And it's just like Tom Brady. I hate the Patriots so much, but I love Tom Brady. I want to see him throw 5 touchdowns and lose. And it's the same with J.J. McCarthy. I want to see him do well. I want to see him throw 5 touchdowns, and I want to see him lose. I want Rashawn Gary to get 18 sacks, but none against the Lions. So those fans aren't what we call diehard fans, Sarah, right? You're a diehard Viking fan. You'll defend them to the end. We're the same way about the Lions. Unfortunately, not all Lions fans are like that. I imagine, I can't speak for everyone, but I imagine that every team has a portion of their fan base that's like that. Bandies, we like to call them. Bandwagon jumpers. So, yeah, I think it'll be bittersweet if the Vikings were to win a Super Bowl. Hopefully, I'll still be alive to see the Lions win one before that day comes. But after being to 4 Super Bowls and losing one, I sympathize with Vikings fans. I mean, you've been somewhere we've never been. You've at least been to a Super Bowl, right? Somewhere in Ghana or Kenya, there are little kids running around wearing Minnesota Vikings World Champion shirts, okay? There are no kids anywhere wearing Super Bowl shirts for the Detroit Lions. So you've got to understand that plays a part in the psyche of some of these Lions fans. We want a winner so bad that getting Tom Brady to hoist a trophy is the closest thing we've ever really had. Or Matt Stafford hoisting one is the closest thing some of these people have ever had to that. So that's where that comes from. But such a great question, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the bandies. And the thing is like most bandies, they don't admit that they're bandies, because to me, a bandy is a person that follows a player to a different team, get when they win. And right there, you just explained it. Like if you own a Detroit Rams shirt, you are a bandy. It just by definition. I don't kill the messenger, but it is what it is by the definition. You got to defend end. If you're out there, I mean, it's okay to like live vicariously through another team. My whole family is Browns fans. They grew up Browns fans. They try to convert me to a Browns fan. Well, I can be happy for them when they win. But when you're taking your team and then you're throwing your energy into, yay, Stafford, get that first down. Oh, you won a Super Bowl, Stafford. We won. No, you didn't win shit. Unless you're just part of the, I don't know, the world. I love every player coalition, and I can just get happy with whoever wins. That's a bandwagon fan, guys. That's the exact definition of a bandwagon fan. If you followed Brady, that's not even a bandwagon fan. At least Brady didn't play in Detroit. Brady got drafted to a different team and was successful. So I can accept somebody liking Brady winning the championship if you're a Michigan fan. If you're a Michigan fan, you can, he didn't play here. But the Stafford, nah, you're a bandwagon jumper. You defined the word bandwagon jumper. Now, you may have apologized since then, and that's okay. It's okay. I don't care if you like, but the definition of bandwagon fan is to go to another team because they are winning. And that's exactly what you did when you followed Stafford to LA, in my opinion.
It's my quarterback.
How about Steve? Steve touting those Green Bay Packers all white uniforms called the Winter Warning or the Winter Storm or whatever they're calling it. White Winter, they're calling it. Yeah, Steve, I thought they looked pretty sweet, man. I got to admit, that was the first time I looked at a Packer jersey and it didn't make me nauseous with that green and gold. So, yeah, I definitely think they look slick. Kudos to you and your team for busting something out. Hopefully that'll go for them the same way it went for Minnesota last year when the Lions went in there and they had that white out and we just dominated them.
The winter warning is coming. All right. I love,
look at Russ trying to digest that.
Yeah, the winter warning. The winter warning. You do know you switched defensive coordinators, right, Steve? Right? I mean, is it? I mean, you got this new guy in the winter warning, right? So LaFleur hires his buddy to come in and be like, hey, you want to call some plays? Oh, you don't have a ton of experience in NFL? Come on in. Why don't you be my defensive coordinator? And then we can hang out on Fridays before the game. But we're supposed to be worried about the winter warning. I'm not worried about the winter warning. I think you're going to get gashed this year. You're going to get gashed this year. You're going to have, all those guys are just going to gel. Is it just all coming together this year? Or is Green Bay falling apart right before our very eyes? Joseph says Laporta and Branch were second-round picks.
Yeah, that's okay. Because another commenter was saying that the second-round curse is real, that the Lions have always traditionally had trouble drafting players in the second round. We're always a bust, but I think Brad Holmes has been busting that narrative for 3 years now.
Steve says, I hear fear in your voice. I hear fear in your voice. I hear fear in your text. I hear fear in your text. Oh, I can hear the fear in your text. Oh, you had a 2-8 record at Boston College. Come join the Packers. Yay.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
That's a great call out.
You guys were so willing to get Joe Barry. If you don't like Joe Barry, I understand that, and the thing is like, we're going to find out this year, Mike, if it was the chicken or the egg, right? Yeah. Either Joe Barry cannot coach at all, and he couldn't get anything out of these great Gutekunst draft picks, or Gutekunst can't draft and Joe Barry was getting the most out of crappy players. One of those things is true.
I don't think that's it. I think it's that first one. Oh, we will see.
You think it was all Joe Barry?
I think it's that first one. That's a great call out, Fred. The 2-8 record. Yeah, you were 2-8 in that rough and tumble ACC.
But think about that. Okay, Joe Barry. Maybe it was Joe Barry, but your answer to that question, right? Get Joe Barry out of here. Let's bring in my 2-8 Boston College guy, my buddy. Come join the Packers. And that's the answer. And you hear fear in my voice. In Flores we trust. Man, I love it. I love it, man. I love our Lions show having all the troll. That, to me, that proves the fear. The fear. If you have to go to another like fan bases and you got to tell them how scared they should be of you. I mean, are you guys? They're probably going to theirs too. Hey, Steve, have you been going to any of the like the Frozen Tundra stuff? You've been jumping on those shows. And Sarah, have you found yourself and got your podcast up and running so we can promote it on here? So, but I love having the dynamic of it, and this group of Packers, Viking, and Bear fans on here are decent trolls. I mean, there's not a lot of that dumb
I seem to recall
talking.
that Sarah had an outstanding name for her podcast too. I can't remember what it was, but I know that it was really good. In Flores,
Yeah,
we
throw
trust.
that in.
She says, "Why, Sarah? Is he going to play corner?"
Oh, Larry says, let's hear some Jack Campbell hype. Breakout season. There's plenty of Jack Campbell hype when it comes into what people have been saying. That middle linebacker position and hasn't looked back since. You got Alex Anzalone playing the will, and now Jack Campbell's running downhill. And the hype, the things that the coaches and the players have been saying is these cornerbacks unlocked to this defense, that their ability to be able to check people out on the outside, like, opens up the violence in the middle from these defensive linemen. And really the biggest, you want to hear the real hype should be on Terrell Williams, the defensive line coach, because I know that there's a lot of hype that is coming out of Levi, but it isn't just Levi. It's all of the defensive linemen. All of the defensive linemen are getting a lot better underneath Terrell Williams. So the whole room is leveling up. And from what I heard, Terrell Williams, his approach is a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler than the other defensive linemen. Like, they don't have well, if they take the A gap, then you have to use the swim move, and they're trying to teach different techniques to play off these techniques. Terrell's like, listen, stop all that. Just be a mother. Just go and be a badass. Strike the hands. It's all about just being violent and creating the havoc, and not so much of, hey, you got to go to this gap or that gap, and if they do this, like, no, just kill the dude in front of you. Oh, so unalive the person in front of you. I'm sorry, Mike. I apologize for I got excited right there.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
But he's preaching the violence. And Terrell Williams probably deserves more credit than any individual player on the defensive line right now. And Jack Campbell is benefiting from Terrell Williams because he can run downhill like a Mack truck. And that's what he does better than any linebacker that came out of last year's draft. So if they can take the thinking out of Jack Campbell and just let him play downhill, Larry,
we're going to bite a kneecap off.
There you go. Oh, and
I got a jet. Villains, have a great day. One pride.
That's a main event Mike right there. And Sarah says, speaking of live tonight, she's live from 9:30 until whenever. So Sarah is going to be on talking some of that good Viking stuff. So if you're a Viking fan, you should go out there. She is very knowledgeable about the Vikings, and she should be able to give you the information that you need. Steve says, I hear the Bears win last night showed that they would win the division this year. Yeah, the Bears hype is unbelievable. The Bears hype is unbelievable. Laporta and Branch were second-round picks, and then you got a question mark. I don't know if you had a question in there. I'm looking back through what you had last half of the season. Aaron Jones was the best running back in the NFL. JJ, very little touch on his passes. You'll see. Okay. Laporta and Branch were second-round picks, and I think that you were responding to somebody else in there, but I'm sorry if I didn't get your question in there, Joseph. We talk football and everything else. All right. Steve will be there for sure. I'm waiting for Russell and Mike to give me the 3D. Now, is that like the Dudley Boys 3D? Paul Jones says 15 wins for the Bears this year. You see? Paul Jones thinks that he's buying that Bears hype.
It's my quarterback.
He's buying it. These guys don't need to have any experience to come right in. They're just going to kill it right off the bat. There's nothing slowing down. I mean, he's got the speed down and everything. He's got it all down. The Bears hype is unbelievable, but it's okay. It's okay. I remember that. I remember that felt like the last year that we had. I can understand why a Bear fan should feel pretty good because they did the smart things. Ryan Poles did the right things, Paul Jones. They did the right things. Yeah, I mean, when and they did it differently. Ryan Poles has a very different style than Brad Holmes does. Ryan Poles went and just, I mean, you had all that cap space and draft picks. And it's like the way it all shook out, you end up getting some really good experienced guys to fill up the money in there. And then you were able to get guys in the draft, and mostly because of how idiotic the Carolina Panthers and how idiotic the Chargers were. Like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give Poles all of the credit in the world right here. Right? Getting Keenan Allen for a 5th-round pick was stellar. Pulling the pants down of the Carolina GM and letting them get up to the number 1 pick to draft a 5-foot quarterback and then allow a generational quarterback, supposedly, to fall into your lap. Now, you're hoping that he's a generational quarterback because you have to have that because the Bears have never been able to develop a quarterback. They never had a good quarterback. So you need a generational guy. But the question for the Bears is, now that you have all this talent, because I remember a Philadelphia Eagles team that was destined for greatness because they hired all this talent, and on paper they were maybe the greatest team ever, and it falls apart because of coaching. And you got to get these guys to play together. And so far, Eberflus has not proven that he can coach in the NFL yet. So you can have all the talent in the world. You got to see it out on the field. And so far, you haven't proven it on the field or off the field. So, Paul Jones, good luck winning 15 games this year. But that's a pipe dream. But I'm used to it. I'm used to seeing Bear fans predict 15 wins year after year after year and win 3, 6, 7, 3 games. So it is what it is. And I know what losing looks like. The Lions have been really, really good at losing for years. It's been a while since I've experienced something where I felt like the Lions were good at winning. So, there you go. Maurice says the Bears are going to be too busy painting nails, so no wins. That's the thing with the Bears. It's like Caleb Williams is a freak of nature when it comes to ability. But what is he going to do when teams push back? What is he going to do when every play isn't a touchdown? What is he going to do? Because he didn't do anything at USC and they blamed it on everybody else. That's fine. He was still the number 1 overall pick. But what is he going to do when NFL teams, which everybody's good in the NFL, by the way. I'm not one of those people that believe that practice squad guys suck or that really anybody sucks. Nobody sucks in the NFL. Like, the first string doesn't suck. The second string doesn't suck. The third string doesn't suck. The practice squad guys don't suck. So, yeah, Paul, I'm not saying Paul was joking, by the way, that we're having fun on here. This is a Lions show. Paul was joking. I want to make that clear that we're just making fun of the Bear fans that are going way overboard with like 15 wins. Like I haven't even heard very many Lions predicting 15 wins, and we went to the NFC Championship last year and got way better in the offseason. It's hard to win in the NFL, guys. And the thing is like, I would love to just say, yeah, we're a shoe in we're going to win the division. I think we're going to win the division again. I don't think there's a team in the North that's going to be able to stand up to what the Lions have done. But it's still the NFL. Anything can happen in the NFL. And it's very hard to win the division 2 years in a row in the NFL. Why? Well, because you get a harder schedule the next year. Like when you win the division, you get to have a first place schedule, which means that you got harder teams on your schedule. So if the Lions can win 2 divisions in a row, that those are usually the signs that you got a good front office and you know how to have sustainability. So, Caleb paints his nails. My quarterback wears rings on his fingers. Oh, I'm glad that you like your quarterback. What's crazy is I remember putting up a post like last year in the middle, like maybe it was in the off season before the year even started. And it actually had, hey, the potential starting quarterbacks. And this is with Kirk Cousins still on the team. Justin Fields is still on the team that actually had this is what the starting quarterbacks should be. Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy, Jared Goff, and Jordan Love. And that was with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. This post was from a couple years back. And that's it's crazy how it happened like that. I remember having Bear fans tell me that I was just being a hater because I said a smart move would be to trade Justin Fields and then draft Caleb Williams. And that would be the best move that they could possibly do. And I took so much heat and so much hate from Chicago Bear fans. And now these same Bear fans are coming back at me telling me that I'm just a hater because Caleb Williams is going to be the guy that destroys my team instead of Justin Fields and, all the hoopla. It's like, listen, you can just talk your smack, but when it's not rooted in any type of reality, it is what it is. It is what it is. We don't over tout our team. Well, we do a little bit because we're homers, but everybody's a homer for their team. But we are realistic to what the other teams are doing. And Sarah says, y'all got the oldest quarterback in the division. Yeah, he's ancient, man. I don't know what Jared Goff is going to do. He's 28 years old, or 20, is he 28, 29? What is Jared Goff? Is that the card where you're not? That's a weak take. You can't be that. You can't have that be the take. Yeah, he's 29 years old. Jared Goff is in the prime of his career. He's coming off of his best season, and he's 29 years old. And you get experience, and especially with the style of quarterback that Jared Goff plays, it's these mobile quarterbacks that are taking the hits. Those are the ones that shorten their careers. Jared Goff isn't going to take a lot of hits. Yeah, Goff's about to collect Social Security. Sarah, that is like, that's such a good rip on me, because I'm like, here you are telling me how old Goff is, and I'm so much older than Goff. And if Goff is ancient collecting Social Security, I'm a dinosaur. I mean, I'm gonna leave like a fossil imprint on this seat that I'm sitting on right here. Oh gosh, you guys, I've had fun today. It's been a good show. I think I'm about ready to turn into a pumpkin. I love talking shit with you guys. I love making this part of my morning. You guys make it better. And you never know when somebody's going through something. And I want you to be able to know how much I appreciate you guys. Because sometimes the escape is what you need. And this gives me an escape. Be nice to people. Try to be nice to people. We have some fun on here, but I wish you guys nothing but the best. I wish blessings on your life. I shouldn't say wish. I hope and pray for blessings on your life. That you don't take football too serious. That you don't let it ruin parts of your life. That you just have some fun and watch your team, support your team, win or lose. But you, the person listening, whoever's listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, be blessed. We wish for good things from you. We faith, family, and football. That's what we talk about here. It's the most important thing. It's in that order: faith, family, and football. Use football to spend time with your family, to create moments with your family. Don't let football use you. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. The Villain Report with Russell Wayne. God bless you.
And yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your